We had you on before the season, and you were feeling pretty confident about your team in the upcoming season. But, I mean, you guys are living up to the expectations. Here you are, 6-1, dominating the Big Ten West. So why is your team playing so well, Coach?
I'd say a couple things. First, a lot of work they did before this year, right? So going back to last January, Josh knows, a team really comes together more in the out of season than they do in the season. And I could tell last January, February, March, and then spring football, they were very coachable. We changed some things offensively, continued to grow the things we did defensively, and just really liked their growth. And then really, once the season started this year, they just kind of lived in the moment. They lived every game for what it is. We had a mild setback at Indiana, but I think in retrospect, if we didn't have that setback, I don't know if we'd be where we are today. We learned some things about ourselves through defeat that's really kind of helped us put us in a position to win these 6 games and hopefully get a couple more.
Coach, you guys off to a fast start, obviously, but you played in some tough physical games too. You had Iowa, Wisconsin, just played Minnesota. Now you're up in a bye week. How are you planning on using this time?
Josh, we naturally we're a team that don't practice on Monday, so I gave them Sunday as a little bonus day. Monday was off, but we're getting good work in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow we'll jump into our Nebraska prep. Actually, Nebraska shares a bye week this week as well, so there's really no film that's going to gain over the weekend. So we'll jump into a little bit of a bonus prep against Nebraska, but mainly getting our guys who have taken a high volume of reps, getting them a little bit more of a reprieve for a week during our bye week, work a lot of our twos and our Devo guys, and really do a self-scout on us to take this 5-game stretch down the end.
Now, Bret, you guys have been hot lately, and you have a fan base down there that's been very excited to watch really good football. So have people been buying you some free drinks over the last 3 weeks or so?
Russ, I think it's been awesome just to see the excitement in the community. We had an 11 o'clock game against Minnesota, and we had a little bit of a window with our babysitter to kind of celebrate after the game. So I did my media, my press. My wife and I popped into the tailgate section with some friends, kind of made a surprise visit to a couple spots of some donors, and it was cool to see their reactions. And then everybody thinks, as a head coach, you live this privileged life. I had the privilege to go home and babysit a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old because my wife and 20 of our coaches' wives went to a Ludacris concert on Saturday night. So that was kind of my Saturday night after winning a big game. But you can definitely feel the excitement in the community, and the people around us are definitely having a great time.
Ludacris gave them the shout out too. I saw that clip on social media, so it's a pretty good shout out.
That's big time.
Yeah.
He's from the Champaign area, so he came back. He actually lived here, I believe, until he was like 8 or 9, and yeah, we made sure he got a jersey and got some hype and some love while he was in town as well.
Well, another guy who might need some love, your running back Chase Brown, who leads the nation in rushing, and one of our producers, Alex, who went to U of I, wants to know, can he get some Heisman love?
Today we actually announced and engaged the media today. We have a new website, is Chasing History, which is obviously promoting Chase and the people around him in a huge way. He's up, for really every national award as we see it. But as you guys know, a lot of times in football, there's way too much emphasis on preseason accolades than there are during the season. And Chase has done some things this fall that I've had a lot of great running backs in my career, first-round draft picks, guys that played in the league, guys that have been on the Heisman stage. And Chase Brown is as good as any player I've ever had. And he's finally getting a lot of that recognition, but I think even more is yet to come.
I know part of your perspective as a head coach is that you have to have really good coordinators. In the offseason, you made a move, hired Barry Lunney Jr. as your offensive coordinator. Ryan Walters has been with you from the start of your Illinois tenure as your defensive coordinator. One thing I notice about these two guys, whether it's in meetings when we're talking to you before games or actually watching them during games, is that they're extremely calm. What does that calm bring to the sideline during games?
Well, I tell our coaches all the time, we're going to lead the charge. Players are going to react off of us. I try to usually, I have a policy for me as a head coach. I always call it back to the bench. As a head coach, I always engage with the field. I want to know what's happening in offense, defense, and special teams. If I turn around and make corrections, it's usually a very significant point or a point in the game where I feel it's necessary. But I let our coaches coach. As a head coach, I have a defensive background, but I probably enjoyed in my head coaching career spending more time with the offense, pointing out things that I think can help or not help our strategy. So they're both very confident people. Barry and Ryan communicate very, very well. They're effective leaders. They're not a guy that acts like a know-it-all. They they live in the moment and have a great rapport with their players, which has really truly been a difference in the season.
Coach, well, last time we had you on, we asked you what your last meal would be, and you gave us a pretty good answer. Now, the bye week, you know, you're going to focus on some football, but you got any dinner plans or meal plans just to kind of relax and have some fun this week?
You know, we were at I'll just say a small town in Mississippi for some recruiting on Monday, and somebody recommended Guadalupe's Sports Bar and Grill, and it was for a little place I'd never been to. It was pretty live entertainment and a pretty good little stretch of food for us. It was good to get in, and kind of always a little scary when you're in a little town you've never been to. I knew enough to stay away from the sushi in Mississippi, but other than that, it was a shot in the dark.